someone I admire greatly, and for what she's done and what she came back from as a child and built up to where she is today. It's just a fabulous story, and really I cannot tell it as well as she can. So without waiting any longer, I'd like to introduce to you Sheila Skolnick.
Good evening, and welcome to Sheila's Business Workshop. I'm so glad you're all able to come out tonight, especially because I'm excited about how I would hope to change your life and how I would hope to give you information that you can get your business to a place where I got mine. Now, people have all kinds of excuses of why they can't. They can't because they don't have money. They can't because they don't know how. They can't because they don't have connections. Well, guess what? I didn't have any of those. As a matter of fact, I even had less than that. I didn't even have a childhood education. I had to teach myself to read, but that's another story. But at any rate, here you are tonight, and I'm so thrilled to share my principles, which got my business going, and hopefully it'll get your business going. These principles I use to move me forward. For example, I have one saying that goes, if it's to be, it's up to me, which means I don't run around saying it's mother's fault, father's fault, my teacher's fault, his fault, her fault. I take all responsibility right here, because when you take responsibility right here, you can make the corrections. If you blame everyone out there, you have no control. You do have control of yourself. You do have control of what you're going to do, but you have no control what all these other people in your world are going to do. So, if it's to be, it's up to me. Remember that. If you want a sale, or if you want a house, or if you want anything, you have to figure out how to make it happen. The other thing is, I do a lot of consulting work, and I hear owners say, well, it's my secretary's fault. It's my business manager's fault. You know what I tell them? It's your fault. Do you know why it's your fault? You're supposed to train them. You're supposed to manage them. You're supposed to put the process in place that they have to follow to get the job done. That's your job. That's your job. You can't blame anyone except yourself. You didn't hire right, and you didn't fire soon enough. Your employees look to you to guide them, to show them the way. You're the Pied Piper, so play that pipe. Show them how it has to look. Teach them how it has to be. Now, you're all going to say, well, I don't have time, I don't have time. Well, guess what? You don't have time not to make money. You don't have time not to grow your business. That's not why you woke up in the morning, was to have a group of people that are not doing their jobs for you. Fire them. Start new. If you can't fire them, then teach them, train them, show them how to be better, teach them what needs to be done. But don't complain about them. Because when you're complaining about your employees, you're complaining about yourself. You're complaining that you didn't train them right, you hired the wrong person, or you didn't fire. So remember that. The other thing is, when you go out in the world amongst your customers, your employees, and your vendors, stop whining. People want to deal with people that are powerful, not people that whine and complain. I don't want to deal with someone that whines and complains. I want to deal with a powerful person. I want to deal with someone, when you say to them, how are you? They don't go, oh, my back hurts, my mother-in-law, my employees. They want to deal with someone that goes, how am I? Can't be any better. You know, this morning I woke up, I felt great. I went into my office, my employees were working hard, and my email was positive. I think I'm doing something right. Now that person at the other end wants to do business with someone like that. Believe me, they want to do business with someone just like that. And the other thing is, you have to teach your employees not to whine. If you whine, they'll whine. If you complain, they'll complain. You know, we all know about the trickle down. Boy, trickle down is big. The other thing that I just love is when you hire a happy person. A happy person can do more for you than any other professional in your business. A happy person will bring people in, will keep the spirits of everybody up, will just do a great job. And if they don't know how to do it, they're happy, believe me. Someone will be happy to help them because they'll want to be around them. The next thing I want to teach you about, it's another one of my principles. And actually, one that I love is say yes to everything. That's how I grew my business. No matter what people asked me, I said yes. Can you do this? Yes. Do you want to do this? Yes. However, I had 4 criteria before I said yes. Number 1, it had to be legal. It had to be moral. It couldn't harm me or somebody else. With those 4 criteria, when they were met, I said yes. And when you say yes, it takes you many, many places you might never have been and brings you to many opportunities you might never have had. I was at a trade show and I was at my booth, or I went to some other booth. I forget what the situation was. But after talking with this gentleman, he said, you know, the city of New York is doing an exporting exposition to Hong Kong. Would you like to join us? Most people would say the following: oh, I'm not sure. What is the date? I've never done it before. That's a crappy song they're whining about. I said yes. It met all 4 criteria. So I never did this type of thing before. Who cares? I went and learned how to do it. I went and learned what they needed and how to do it. And I had the best time of my life. I didn't sell a single thing, quite frankly, but doesn't change the fact I had the best time of my life. I went to Hong Kong as a diplomat. When do you in your lifetime get to go to another country as a diplomat? I'll never will again. And I sat they had the races. They had these big boxes at the races with big dining room tables with linens. And we sat with people from kings and all sorts of people from all over the world. It was fabulous. And I met somebody who was a diplomat and we became very good friends. And there I was, dining at the UN on a regular basis. I said yes. And when this pertains to your customer says, do you sell blah, blah, blah? I used to go, yeah, I do. But let me get back to you to make sure I have it how you want it. So give me the details. You want what? And what size? How many do you want? And the price point? Okay, I'm gonna get back to you. Well, since the customer wants this, it was worth my time and effort finding it for the best price and giving the best service, and I got the deal. And that's how I wound up selling hundreds and hundreds of products. The other thing I want you to be aware of is that when you go out into the world, I want you to observe everything that goes on around you. There's money to be made if you observe things, if you look at things, if you look for problems, that you look for issues. I sold to the lodging industry, and I knew nothing about the lodging industry. I never probably even stayed at a hotel, certainly a 4- or 5-star hotel. I went in anyway. I looked around, I looked for problems, I saw problems, and I solved them. Why? No one else bothered. Everybody was a me too. I could do that. Me too, me too. It's not that I didn't do me too, but you know, when I saw a problem, for example, when I used to go to trade shows, I used to call up the houseman the day before the trade show for an ironing board so I can have my clothes pressed. You know, if you're at a Marriott or a Hyatt or a Hilton, they have hundreds and hundreds of rooms. And if it's a business class hotel, everyone needs an ironing board. They can't possibly get it to you within the time span you want it. So I used to order it the day before and put it under the bed and have it every day when I needed it, because I knew I'd never get it on time. So I said to myself, self, you know what? Everyone must be having this problem. And the hotel must be getting complaints left and right. So I figured out how to put an ironing board and an iron in the guest room closet for every guest room. I just needed to find a device it can hang on. Hence, I created the press kit. And I sold, thousands and thousands and thousands of them. Until, of course, my competitors got in there and they did it, me too. But I was the first. And the way I sold this is I explained to the hotel, to purchasing, I said, no, to operations, I said, how much do you pay for housemen just to bring up the iron and boards a year? He told me. I said, how many complaints do you get because they're not there on time or you don't have enough? He goes, plenty. I says, I have the solution. It'll cost you a certain amount of money up front, but by the end of the year, it will pay for itself by you not having to pay the houseman to do that specific kind of job. And they did, and they got it. And once the Marriott had it, the Hiltons had to have it, and the Hyatts had to have it. I set many standards just by figuring out where the problem was and what's going on. There was another product I came up with. I used to sell to the Plaza Athénée, 5-star hotel, way beyond a 5-star hotel in Manhattan. And I used to do walkthroughs with general managers and operations through the rooms. And they used to ask me to look around and see if there are any problems, if there's any way they can do it better than the next guy. And I noticed that there were 2 windows in the corner with the sun coming in. And when the sun came in, you saw the little dust flowing through the sun, lots of dust flowing through the sun. And the room was awfully warm as well. I opened the closet door and I looked up, I saw a pillow and a blanket. And I thought to myself, you know what? Those probably don't get used that often because it's a warm room. But when it is used, it's probably dirty and dusty. And 5-star properties like the Athénée and other 5-star property, that is the worst and last thing they want their customer to see is dirt. So I said that to the general manager. His name was Mr. Udre. I said, you know, Mr. Udre, that's an issue. And he goes, oh, Mrs. Skolnicks, he says, oh, this is terrible. He says, I want you to solve the problem for me and I'll buy it. I says, okay, no problem. I left there really fast. I went to Bloomingdale's, and you ever see when a blanket comes, when you go to buy a blanket, it comes in these plastic bags? Yeah. So I got the plastic bag, I unzipped it, and there was a label inside, and it showed where the plastic bags were made, who makes it. They even had their phone number. So I called up the manufacturer, and I figured out the sizes I needed for 2 pillows and a blanket, and I asked the manufacturer, what sizes do these come in? And he says it comes in blah, blah, blah size. I says, fine. How many in the case? He goes, 144. Now, he thought he was selling it to someone that sold blankets or pillows or drapes. I says, oh, how much does it cost each one of them? He told me 24 cents each, because it was just plastic with a zipper. I held my breath and I said, oh, are you sure you can't do better than that? So he made it less. I says, I want to order several boxes. Do I get a discount for several boxes? He said, yes. Shipped it to me. My customer said, I went to my customer, I showed him, I put the blanket and the pillow in the bag, closed it, nice and neat and clean and sterile, put it up on the shelf, stepped back and looked at it, and I went, oh. He goes, oh, this is wonderful. He's French, I can't do French. This is wonderful. He says, how much? Oh, I says, $2.99 each. He went, oh, that's great. Oh, that's great. Oh, is that great for me? I said, how many do you need? He says, oh, I need one for every room. Do you know how much money I made? Let's count this on our fingers. A fortune on a silly thing like that. But that's what entrepreneurs do. They find a hole and fill it. So what I want to tell all of you, look around no matter what business you're in, find those holes and fill it. 2 things will happen. You'll make money, and since you're the first, you'll make a lot of money. Thank you.